You're always learning. Your network of people is never big enough. Like there's always people that are better, that are smarter, that just do it, right? I got a deal this morning and I'm like looking at it and I'm like, oh, this location is prime real estate, right? And then it's going for a sale. It's up for sale. And I'm like, yeah, this like, what's the thing? And so I'm talking to the realtor and this realtor's like, I don't know, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm just telling you what happened here. They didn't have triple net leases. There's real estate tax and their insurance tax went really high, and they had a interest rate spike of about 3% in the last year and a half, and they went bankrupt. They're going bankrupt, and the bank's taking it from them.
She goes,
how'd you know that? I said, well, I just told you what I think happened. She's like, well, I'll send you the P&L for it. Send the P&L. All three things I said exactly doubled, like their interest expense, their property tax, all that like doubled, and then 110 left. So they went from like making 100,000 a year to losing like 100,000 1 year. So it's all them people that know what's going on and how to do it, and it's even commercial, like the leases. I mean, I hate leases. I get to like page 2, page 3, and my attention span is done. And I'm like, all this lawyer bullshit. It's so stupid. They killed trees. You should be able to write it all on one page. This 32-page bullshit. You got to put ink in your printer and all that. God, I hate it.
I will pay you. You will keep the property maintained. Thank you, tenant.
Whatever. But the difference in leases from, store to store, like a Starbucks lease is different than a Dollar General lease, which is different than a Arby's lease. So you got to read them all and go through them and how they interpret and all that and blah, blah, blah. Jesus Christ. And then you got to have lawyers do it. And some of them are good. Some of you think are good, and then some ain't that good. And they think they're good. And that's the problem. That's the biggest thing I think in our industry is there's a lot of people that think they're like really good, and I would call them just okay. And sometimes you can't really tell them that they're not that good, because then they get mad at you, and you kind of eventually need them down the road, and they might have a relationship and blah, blah, blah. But it's, your banker is important. You should have multiple bankers. Like, in order to have multiple bankers, you need to have a good balance sheet that a lot of people don't know how to do. So get a balance sheet, make sure it's accurate, make sure it's good. Take it around to 5, 6 banks. Like I've got about 6 or 7 of them that I use, and I'm friends with them all, people I like. And depending on how the bank situations are with deposits, this and that, and they can be a half a point off. And a half a point on a $3-4 million deal is a shitload of money every year. You might as well have it in your pocket.
You brought up the power of networking and people. One thing that I always bring up, or I bring up repeatedly, is especially in the real estate world, of living in this bubble and not really knowing what the true ceiling is, because you think you have a lot of money, or you think you know people with a lot of money, and then if you just keep networking, meeting more people, you realize, oh, I don't even know what real money is.